All right, guys, welcome back to what should be the final video of maybe even this build other than a final walkthrough, because we basically have what you see behind us to finish with LP SmartSide. And there are some details definitely that I want to take you through here, as well as a roof detail on the back where we have a kickout flashing and we need to flash up that roof properly. And I think it's important. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video and let's wrap up all this LP SmartSide exterior. This was a little unique, guys, because we're actually on our third reference line. This weird corner right here never captured the laser when we were over here, so I had to set up the reference line again, and then it was too low because of the stone. So I had to do a bunch of changing, but now I think I've got it pretty set up, and yeah, I'm kind of anxious to get around to this corner and make sure that all of our siding lines line up perfectly. So I guess stick around, we'll see how we did. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be pretty good though, because we did our best. Oh, come on, Kyle. So underneath the porch, unfortunately, my level is too big. So what I'm doing is just transferring to a new story pole. And honestly, I don't like doing this sort of thing, because anytime you have to do this, you start introducing possible air. So it's nice to kind of stick with one story pole the whole time, but unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards. I should be able to just use this guy, oops, set it up to my reference lines and have a new marks. It should be good, and they should all match up. I actually like this level better because of this. Really shows my lines nice. Also, guys, I know you're probably looking at my hand thinking, what in the heck did you do, Kyle? Well, yesterday I made a stupid mistake and I went to go punch my hammer, but my hammer was next to a piece of metal. And I punched my hand right into a piece of metal, split it open, and let me tell you, the knuckle is not a good place to have a gaping hole. So luckily, I was right by my mother-in-law's house. I called her up. She had some of that medical super glue and took care of it. But I woke up this morning and I don't know, maybe it's infected, maybe I need to go to a doctor, I'm not sure, but we're gonna let this one play out, see what happens if it gets any worse. Right now though, it's a little sore, tender, and definitely you guys are gonna be looking at that probably all video. Sorry about that, we'll try to keep that to a minimum. Well, it's really hard to see, but this is about where my bottom should be, and it looks like it's pretty good. Now I did have another reference line here, but I'm not even going to use it. I'm just going to go off of what I just made, and we're going to know as soon as we put a couple rows of siding up how we did. The good thing is you can micro adjust. You know, you got to make sure that you have the proper overlap, but you can kind of fudge if you have to. I just don't want to have to, because I'm going through the time and effort to put all these marks on the wall and snap all these lines. So I don't have to do that, so that I just put it up to these marks, and like we've done on the entire house, it should be perfect with this corner. So, all right, I got all the marks done. We've got to get a piece of starter strip above this flashing. We got to make sure we're 3/8 of an inch above that flashing. And then I think, I have not measured it yet, but I think the first piece of siding will have to just barely rip down. We're gonna be close to a full piece. It was something we tried to do, but we're kind of limited with our height. But this is going to be very close to a full piece down here, which is what we wanted. So let's go ahead and let's start installing some SmartSide. All right, when we're starting here, you can see we are very close. We had to rip off about this much, and I'm using this as a starter strip to get my first course kicked out like we've done on the bottoms. But what's nice is a piece of SmartSide is 3/8 of an inch thick. That is also the spacing we want here above our metal flashings. So I can just set this here, and this doesn't have to go exactly to the edges, but we're going to use that as a spacing guide on all of our starters, as well as our first piece. So this first piece I had to rip down. You'll notice the factory bevel, and you'll notice my rip. I'm gonna put the rip up, and I've got my marks here already, so it's kind of nice. I don't even need to worry about setting my spacing because I already did that math. And because these are such small pieces, we're not going to do the standard 3/16 gap. It's not actually necessary when these are small. We're going to go with an 1/8 inch gap so we can still get our caulk joint there. But that's all we're going to do. There's not going to be a ton of growth in these pieces. Perfect. And then I got my marks already there so I don't have to worry. This should go pretty quick. Now, really nothing else special. I just wanted to touch on this right here. This gap is important. The flashing is important because you don't want to be close to concrete, right close to it. Concrete holds moisture, and moisture is not good for a wood product. So that's why you put the flashing, and that also reduces the dimension of your, okay, we got a problem. Did I go off the wrong line there or something? Yeah, I did. That was my reference line. All right, I just went ahead and taped over that nail. I was going off the wrong line. I'm just wondering how many of you guys and girls were watching this happen and think, oh my God, Kyle, you just totally messed up. It's only a mess up if you don't fix it, I think. That's what I always tell myself. Now we're in business. So this is pretty easy. We're gonna go ahead and let's just move on to some time lapse. We'll get up above all these windows and then we'll go to this detail over here on the gable that I think you guys wanna know. All right, so now that we're up here to this height, we're gonna be going around this porch header. And what we like to do is this last full piece, before we go up there, I'm gonna take some seal tape and I'm just gonna run this like so. And really what this is doing is we're kind of just making our own little flashing. It's just kind of like a soft flash. And that's in case any water were to get behind the siding here. Now we're gonna caulk this, it's gonna be the best we can, but you know, over time, caulk might fail, and this is gonna be a preventative measure because almost 9 times out of 10, this is where when you re-side a house, the water comes in here because it's improperly flashed, and then this section of sheathing has to be replaced. So what we're gonna do is put this here. This is gonna allow the water that gets back here to lap over this siding and hopefully come out. So this is, I think, an important detail. It's an easy detail. And now what we're gonna do is put our first piece of trim on under the porch so we can do our siding trim around this guy. All right, Greg, can you reach up there, buddy?
Barely.
Yeah. Well, let me come over there and nail it for you. Let's see, that's, there you go, buddy. I know what it's like being short. I remember being 12 and not quite fully developed yet.
Turned 30 in a couple months.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Late bloomer.
Okay, so I'm just following the sheathing because that gives me my 4-foot space, and then I can go right in the middle for a 2-foot. Man, does not want to go through that metal, does it? Okay, so right here, we need to trim. We don't have to, I just think it looks nicer. So we're gonna take some SmartSide, and in fact, I think we've already got it ripped down. I don't like to use a full 3.5-inch piece because I don't want this to be like obnoxiously large. So we rip a piece down and we're gonna trim around this guy. So first thing I need to do is get this dimension, 5.5, that makes sense. I'll get this piece, and then I'm gonna run these pieces long. One, it's gonna make this little guy a little bit bigger so it'll be easier to nail, but also anytime I do any joints with trims, I always think about the water, and if I run this bottom piece long, then I have a horizontal joint. Horizontal joints aren't great because if the caulk fails, then you've got a place for water to go in. At least if it's a vertical joint, the water can run down and out. So I'm gonna get this piece cut first, and then we'll be able to get a measurement for these guys. I always put the cut edge up against the thing that's going to be the most cleanest, I guess. And I'm just making sure that I like the placement of this one. Let's see if we can sneak a couple nails in here. Greg, can I get that dabber? And then what we're going to do is we're going to use some Lexel, which is what we're using to caulk this job, and we're going to put it right here. This is because I'm not leaving any gap, and I want that to be sealed up. So then we can take our little guy. I'm not worried under the porch. I mean, this might get some wind-driven rain. That's what I love about SmartSide, man. Even these little pieces, you don't have to worry about them busting up when you throw a nail through it. We're going to leave that caulk there for now. We can trim it off later. And it's paintable, so we can even match it 100% if we really wanted to. So now that I have those two there, what I can do is I can get myself a measurement for this guy, which should be pretty easy. 24/7/8. This is actually going to get caulked later around this joint, so I don't have to worry too much there on the wood. But let's see. Don't like it. A little bit tight. Let's shave a little off. Greg, I'm going to need your painter again. So this is not, I don't know that you have to do some of this. I just like to do a little bit of trim detail around, and I just think it cleans it up. But with these here, now what we can do is we can continue, get this piece in, and the worst part is, in my opinion, we're going to have like a 3-inch rip here, and it's not the end of the world. I just wish we had a full piece, but you can't get every row to be a perfect fit to every, every transition point, every window top, every window bottom, the stone. And for me, I'd probably rather make everything look good down low. And as it gets to the top, if you got a little piece or something, most people don't look up, so I try to hide the stuff up high, I guess. Normally I wouldn't two-piece a header trim like this, but I got these two scraps that I can't really use, and I figured underneath the porch, best place to use them. I mean, you're obviously not worried about water really under here. I don't probably even need this, but I just think for the aesthetics, it's good to have consistent look around all your windows. If you're going to do header flashing, you got to just do them on all of them. I can't forget to pick up more aluminum, Greg. I'm gonna leave that on you to remind me. I figure since we're two-piecing this, we might as well two-piece our tape too, because we're about the end of our we're about the end of everything here. I mean, we're almost done with this job, so we're really coming down to the end. Okay, come down a little, Greg. Come down. You should be about, yeah, there you go. Why don't you move your ladder till it's in a good spot for you? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, move your ladder. Because I want you have to stay perfect and consistent.
Right there.
Yeah?
Can you mark exact?
Yep, mark exact. And I'm going to measure for that one because I can't reach out there and get it. We'll measure it, just double check, but should be good.
Under 43.
All right, I gotta find all my marks. Here's one. Does that mean, where are we here? 8. Yeah, I guess this is here somewhere. Well, I see this one. So
This guy's here. So 43.
it has to be over here. It's hard to see in this light, man. Oh, right here. Here we go. Okay. I always go exact, and then I use my square just to space it out, the correct spacing over around the window. What was your height, Greg? Oh, you didn't do that.
I didn't check height, nope. 10, go to 10.
Yep. Oh, right here. I see it. And right here. You did exact, right, Greg?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. No, Greg, just go into it.
4 inches.
It should be 4 inches. And 4 inches. It can be hard to see. All right, next one.
So which line is it?
It's the back. Yeah, the back line is the full depth. Okay, hold up. Okay, go ahead. Oh boy, you just about. Why do I let you do this sometimes? You're gonna ruin my track, dude.
You didn't warn me about that.
I wonder what happens to my track sometimes. It's because you can't do that. You have to plunge it again. You know, it's okay. It's fine. They make new tracks every day, dude. It's no big deal. My eye, brother.
Whoa, buddy!
SmartSide, dude.
That almost broke.
No.
You gonna plunge it or?
I'm gonna plunge it. It's big enough. Yeah. Nice work, man. Let me get underneath this. I'm not having a problem with anything so far.
No, I'm pretty good.
Oh yeah, there's my snap line. I can't see it because of the tape here, and it's right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Tender, dude.
Nice, dude. Just gotta make sure I'm 3/4 of an inch off of my top edge. Oops. Let's check it. 3/4 exactly.
So
that is 3/4.
That means the other ones are wrong.
Yeah. That's the exact spacing that you want to be. 3/4 off the edge. I mean, this is 1/2 inch. It's fine, but that's what LP recommends is they want the maximum nailing distance down for your covers. We're using a 1-inch coverage, so we can't really go any lower than that. Oh, we'll go through the rung on the silver ladder, shove it into that one. Who needs a lift when you got this sort of setup? Perfectly safe. Let's, yeah, it's all good.
I would scoot that way a little bit.
This?
Yeah, towards like the wall. Be a little more sturdy. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, I just got to get up on it, huh? See, 40's the new 30, dude. All right, I'm ready now. Now this is as far as I'm going.
As far as you can go.
I bet I could go a little bit further without it rocking on me.
No.
I think so. Perfect, dude.
It's all you.
It's all me. Oh, easy, dude.
You need right along the bottom of that tree.
Bottom what trim? Yeah, because it was 1 inch, remember? Perfect. see what happens. I like it, man. It's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work. It's gonna be just fine, man. That's that. So we know. And then what was our height? We had what? 3.
I'll read them.
4 1/4 is this.
4 1/4 is 3 5/8.
Okay, and then 3 5/8. Okay. All right, cool. 3 5/8.
These all type measurements, or what are they?
They're what I'm cutting. All right, that's about all I can do, my guy. I don't have no problems with that. See, you can't even see that mess up of mine on that cut. I like it. Nice. Now, what we did down there with that tape, we're going to kind of do the same thing, even though it's tucked underneath here. I'm just going to put a little bit of additional tape right here underneath the siding, underneath the caulk. Greg, can you hand me that little roll? I just need a little chunk. I just want to do a little bit of something. I don't know if it's going to do a ton, but I think it's better than nothing. Yeah. All right, I got a little tip for you guys. So I'm putting this piece of trim up. I'm supposed to have like an 1/8 inch, 3/16 gap over there. Now, I'm up here on this plank by myself. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna make a mark on your wall. I'm all the way tight over there. And then we're gonna make an 1/8 inch mark away. And this works if you're in between two areas and you want to get an even gap on both sides. You're just going to slide it over both ways tight, make 2 marks, and then that's going to give you your center line. So now I just slid it over from my mark, 1/8 of an inch, and now I've got the proper gap. See, I can't barely reach over here. Right there. So just a little tip. I don't know if it's useful. Let me know down below if that was a useful tip or not, or if I'm just an idiot. It sounded like a dumb tip because it, it's kind of pointless. Got 1. This is there. 2. Seven and a half. And 7 1/2.
I need your help cut. Rip that.
Okay. This could be a little bit tricky to get. A good thing the SmartSide is so. Come on, buddy.
You got the cider of simpleness.
Yeah, it's a simple cider. Just eyeball that 1/8 in there. Yeah, right there. Hit that. Beautiful. Reach for the stars.
Yeah.
Yep. Stay down. Nice. Good work, man.
All you.
Everything else look good? Yeah, I think so. You got the dabber?
Huh?
Dabber? Oh boy.
On the way.
Here, switch me. All right, guys, so we've got basically 2 more spots that I want to share with you on details on how we do them. One of them being where this roof of the porch terminates here on this sidewall. So this is an important flashing area because a lot of times, once again, a guy goes and remodels this siding, you pull this all off, and right here, this is where all the rot is, and this is where all the damage and replacement takes place before you put your siding back up. So I'm gonna take you guys through the steps, and what we gotta do first is we gotta get one more piece of siding on, and then this piece of siding is where we start seeing the details of the kickout flashing. So I'm gonna get into this and I'll show you what we're gonna do.
There.
Oh, okay, that's it?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a little bit weird, guys, because I've never done this exact thing on this exact detail with this exact metal roof. A lot of times when we're doing this, it's a standing seam metal. So we have a different trim set. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece of J-channel and I'm gonna seal it to the top of the metal roof. We've got some double beaded butyl tape, it's good stuff, and we'll put that underneath and we'll get this fastened down. And the tricky thing is, this is the counter flash so that water that comes off this wall goes out over the roof. But we also need a piece of flashing to kick out underneath the metal roof. So it's just a little bit tricky, but I think after seeing it like this is kind of what I had envisioned. I think it's gonna work out pretty good. So I'm up all the way, Greg? All right, let me just get a mark where my roof is so I can get a measurement. All right, let's pull that off. Greg, can you do me a favor and get a mark off the wall? Let's go like 5.5 inches, and that's the line that we're gonna run this J channel. So if you can get one up there, we'll pop a line down, and then we'll get some double beaded butyl tape. Yep. Okay, so this little cutoff is what I'm gonna use for my kickout flashing. And it might be a little excessively large, but we're gonna go ahead and we'll get it bent up and then we'll see. So this is gonna go up underneath the steel. And what we need to do is if we just leave the flashing like so, water runs down and then it runs right here. Right here is where our SmartSide is gonna be. We don't want that. We want it to kick out, go to the gutter, and stay off the wall. So what we need to do is we need to get a little slit in this. I'm just trying to maximize how much I think I need. Probably can get away with something like so. And this is pretty simple, really. Just gonna give ourselves, let's see, there we go. Just a little line to cut from. We've got to make sure that we do this the right way so that it pre-bends in. We're gonna cut this with our reds, and you'll see why. Greg, this is where I might need the assistance of your muscles, man. Maybe just your hand muscles, because I might need some clamping power. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
You got that bum hand.
Yeah. It's kind of still nasty anyway. All right, so just clamp that sucker. So I use my reds because it naturally, you see how it naturally pushed this side of the metal this way? Well, that's the way we want to bend it. Okay. So now, take a look at this. Okay, so now we can kind of play with this angle. Might be a little bit steep, we'll see. So what we're gonna do now is this will get any water that goes over our flashing will kick out here and it'll come out on this edge here. It's not going to come out the wall right here and do, damage. Now there's still gonna be a spot right here that we'll have to detail. We might cut this down a little bit. It all depends on where this SmartSide comes through. So that's the kickout flash. We'll leave this here for a second. And Greg, let's go ahead and get these 2 pieces of SmartSide up, and then we can finish these trim details.
5 3/8.
5 1/4. It's not bad. Okay. Greg, do you have my simple?
No, you do.
I do? We forgot something. We're going to do it because I think it's important. I've talked about it. We've done it on another detail. Can anybody guess what we forgot to do? Greg, do you know what we forgot to do?
Yep.
What did we forget, buddy?
Math adds up. We forgot to do the tape.
That is correct. As a counter measure in case any moisture gets by our line of defenses, because up here we're going to do our best, caulk the rest, but down here we're going to go ahead and put some tape. So I've got a roll of tape around here somewhere. We got a little bit of some Fentrum. Oh, hey, it's perfect. That's literally the piece I was looking for. And this is just added protection. Takes just a couple seconds to do it. We're just going to center this up here over top of this joint. You could do a piece of metal flash, but I think that since that's never going to see the sun, we don't have to worry about the UV rays breaking it down. It's going to be just fine. Okay, now we're back. Oops. We had a little bit of maybe miscommunication. I don't know. This gutter was too close to the wall, so we couldn't get our siding in comfortably. So I just popped this cap off, did a little bit of hand cutting, and now I'm going to go ahead and put this cap back on. And we're going to use some. Obviously, we're going to use some good Lexel because this stuff is the best. I don't know what my gutter guy uses. You ever seen what he uses?
Mm-mm.
It was pretty sticky though.
Probably like OSI.
I don't know. Okay. Sticks to anything. Okay. We're just going to leave that there. We'll clean some of this off, and then I'll caulk the inside. But let's go and put that piece of siding up over here, Greg. Okay, so this piece is kind of the last piece of siding we'll do before we do our kickout. Good. All right, so our lap on our siding is 1 inch. So now what we can do is put this in here, right here, and I want to mark this right here. So ideally, I wish this was a little bit taller, but I think it's going to be just fine. So now what we can do is take this. Let's see, I don't know if I like that. That's kind of low. That's kind of low. But personally, I'd rather it be low than cut into the siding.
Could you hem it forward a little bit, like give it like a 1/2 inch kick out?
Well, I don't think I care too much about that, to be honest. So water that's going to run over top here. This is mainly for water coming off the roof that's on the trim. And we're not going to even get much water here anyway up underneath this. So wind-driven rain hits, runs down. It's going to be at the bottom of the flashing. It's going to be running down this flashing that's going to go against this roof. And it's going to hit this and go down. So if I go ahead and turn this, if I go ahead and cut this, turn it against this piece here, and you know, some water is going to make it here and go down. We did our detail here. We're going to caulk this. There's really not much for it to go. So I think that this is a detail that we're gonna call. I think it's good. Yeah. Ideally, I wish it was a little bit taller. I think maybe you want like a 4-inch flashing here. Let's do this. Let's see what this does. So if we go something like this, and I cut this back, let's just leave this here. Yeah, I'm okay with this. This is going to be just fine. I'd do it to my house. Okay, so now what we can do, this is just like a little scrap piece, but what you're going to see is that now this piece here is going to go right over top. And then we're going to have one more piece of flashing that'll be over top of the roof as well. So any water, I think you guys got the idea. This is just a really important detail that a lot of people don't do. And we're also going to shoot some sealant right here just to prevent water from going back here. But there's water on a house. The point is you're going to get maybe some back here. You just want it to have a place to go and not sit maybe in a place that it can rot forever. So I think that's pretty good, Greg. Let's go ahead and let's do this roof detail now. You got your marks? Let's snap a line and get our trim on. All right, Greg, so you're gonna go hold it up. I gotta get mine underneath. So mine tucks right underneath the edge. I'm just gonna give us a nice clean edge here. Okay, so just kind of keep it off the double beaded. So see how I did this little turnaround? This is to close this trim off so that you don't see anything. And we've got this bottom piece, and I'm hoping I should be able to tuck it right underneath if I did it right. Okay.
Wait. Let me get underneath mine.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, go up.
Oh.
There we go.
All right, so boom, right on my chalk line. See that? And then that will get nice and screwed down. Yeah, I think that's gonna work pretty nice. Got that screw gun, buddy? In fact, since I can still, we're gonna throw some double beaded right here. Just to stop any ice damming or, you know what I'm saying?
Any backwash.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll screw that down. Okay. You got a screw in here? There?
Right in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like it kind of.
I can't see my line because I'm up on this right.
A little bit low, but I can.
Yeah. Okay,
Right-
but
right
that's
there is
but
where
that's
I
where you want it. Okay, let me just mark so I can get a bend. Okay, let me just bend it. You can just leave it right there. Come on. These guys. This might be too tall of a piece. We'll see where it lies. I might have to trim a little bit of this off. Okay, so that's gonna have to get trimmed right there, which is okay. This is about probably an 1/8 too long. And let's see how much we got to take off there. Okay, so now this is our main flashing on the wall, and the kick out is just for any water that comes down here is gonna get kicked out away so we don't funnel into a weird hole in our siding where the leak occurs. So I think that this is a really good way to do it. And this we'll have to put screws through. That's where I'm not necessarily excited about doing this detail on this specific roof, because I don't have the necessary trim details where I can hook and have like a fastener free system, but it's gonna be fine. The whole roof has screws in it and I think it's gonna be just fine.
It's about an inch.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work out pretty nice. Now we're good to go ahead and get the angle figured out here, which we're gonna use this bad boy. I brought the big one because this is a pretty severe angle actually. So we got our first snap line, and it should be, Greg, this should be 9.4, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
It should be 9.4. What are you reading, and are you level?
I don't think it'd probably go down. Yeah,
You go level on that bad boy.
yeah, you're gonna want to go down. Level is. Oh wait, go up. Level. Keep going up a little bit right there.
Yeah. What is it reading?
9.4.
9.4?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 212 pitch. So we're pretty good to go. That was exactly what we built this at. And it's just always good to confirm with this guy, because sometimes when you're building, things don't end up as nice as you want them. And this will tell you exactly your angle. So, all right, let's get a dimension. You got a couple more screws to put in.
I need screws.
Okay. Oh, that's comfortable. Nice. All right. Tell you what, Greg, I'll go ahead and get this next one installed, then measured. You want to grab pieces of 3.5, and that'll get us finished up here. Oh, too old for this. Double beaded, beautiful, beautiful tape, man.
Well, it's not so beautiful.
Yeah, not when I step on it. Man, my hand's starting to ooze out the side. That's not good. Just take an 1/8 off. Oh, 1/8. Yeah, I don't need it to be. Okay, way up here in the corner, Greg, tight is about 2 1/8. So you're gonna cut your end at 2 inches. 2 inches. No, go, because we're gonna be off the wall a little. Go 2 1/16.
2 1/16.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Final answer.
How big is our rip though? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
2 1/16 off of the.
I'm 6.5, so 7.5. Minus, so go 7 3/8. And I'm gonna check down here just to make sure we're, yeah. Go 7, what'd I say? 7 3/8?
7 3/8 and 16th down.
Yeah, I did. It was 7.5. So 7.5 plus a 16th down. Thanks. It's a good throw. You've gotten better. Hey, Greg, yeah, 1/8 inch. There we go. Okay. And then, only thing it looks like to me, this soffit's a little low, so I'm getting a little bit of something here. You see that? Let's just do this. There we go. That I like. Okay, it's gonna get tight here. Ugh. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh man. Ugh. Yeah, I think we're pretty good, right?
Yeah, actually, it looks great.
Yeah, this tip here maybe is a little low, but I think it's pretty good. This is a really good tip, man. Using this perfect spacing just as you work up, it protects your metal from getting scratched maybe a little. It just makes a perfect, perfect reveal. So, all right, we're done here. We got one more piece of siding to put up and this is done. And I'll be happy. Let's do it, Greg. Oh. There goes my ankle. Let's see. All right, we're just gonna set that there since Greg isn't up here helping me. Nice. Well, you could come up and get the measurement when I start nailing this. You could be there for moral support. Oh. See, now you'll have it all done, man. Oops. That sucker's got a nice little smiley to it. There you go.
I don't know why I had to throw that to me.
Nice. All right, guys, that's about the extent of the siding as far as this video goes. We got one gable end to finish up, which we'll just throw in at the end here in some time lapse. And then the last thing we have to do is the front of the house, which is going to be, I'll be too busy to probably film. It's going to be done with LP SmartSide. They're coming out. They're going to do some content. Be a lot of talking, actually, probably more than installing, right, Greg? That's the way it usually goes. Mm-hmm. So definitely not something you guys probably want to see in a video, maybe. But yeah, that about wraps it up. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll do a full walk around video about the project here in the future, so make sure you subscribe. And with that, let's wrap this gable end up and get out of here. See you guys later. No hill for a climber, Greg. It's easy. I know you did. You let us know about how difficult it was. Dude, I found out that what it is you got to be running high RPM. Man, dude, that's something in my eye. Nice work, man.
I am professional cut man. You're getting paint all over that.
No, I didn't. Did I?
Look at all this extra paint.